Oh, hey, Taco Bell's pretty cool, right? Seems like everybody loves that shit. Now, everybody is my nickname for stoned teenagers at 2 a.m., but regardless, I figured if I want to get anywhere in life, I gotta strike while the iron's hot. I gotta take advantage of all the people willing to spend their hard-earned cash on cheap, questionably made American Mexican food. So, hit up my local Taco Bell today and spent my entire life savings on their entire stock of food. It's called an investment. All right, just posted about my purchase on Craigslist. Now we just gotta wait for the phone to ring. Give it a second. Any minute now. It's gonna happen. I might have f***ed up.
I know so much about business. Money, transactions, the economy. I mean, just look at my master's degree.
And no, I didn't just draw this with marker. I used Sharpie, like a big boy.
The chain of business typically goes like this. Someone produces a product, those people sell it to a reliable distributor for a certain amount of money. That distributor then resells the product for more money with the purpose of making a profit. The people that buy said product from the distributor use the product, wash, rinse, repeat. There is a lot more to it than that, but at least from a general standpoint, that's how capitalism usually works. Why, yes, I did take one economics class in college, but there's a caveat to this, something that almost entirely disrupts this flow of transactions. And it just so happens to be the worst people of all time.
The worst people.
These are scalpers, and when I say that, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking people that buy products with the sole purpose of selling them for a profit. Now, this is obviously what distributors do, but this is a lot more of a tried and true practice in my opinion. This is how capitalism has operated in major parts of the world for years now, which doesn't make it more ethical, it just makes me a sheep for accepting it. These distributors' main goal is to reliably get the products out to consumers in a widespread fashion. Yes, they are making a profit, but they still have to pay for transportation, property maintenance, labor, etc.
Congratulations, Walmart, you have a reason to exist.
Now, when I think of scalpers, I think of everyday people who buy products, usually multiple at a time, with their only intent being to sell them for above their market value. These aren't grocery stores selling pallets worth of Ritz crackers. These are people just like you and me, but they want to f*** you over.
So they're just like me.
Scalping, or scalp trading, is a practice that we've seen time and time again throughout the years. When a hot new product comes out that everyone wants, you're bound to have an influx of folks thinking, you know, I should take advantage of that. I mean, I can't entirely blame people for thinking this way. The times are tough, the job market is super unstable, and a lot of people need a little extra walking around money. So why not spend what you already have on products that already cost absurd amounts of money, and then resell them with shady listings on Facebook Marketplace for a slightly higher price?
What? Why not rob a fucking bank?
This idea always seemed flawed to me. So you go through all the trouble of securing countless copies of a product, oftentimes leading you to have to wake up early or just be at the right place at the right time, just to try to pawn off this stock to desperate consumers that go through crippling withdrawal if they can't get their hands on it right away, all with the result of making like $20 extra after the resale. But let's be fair here, scalpers tend to make a lot more money than that on average. If that weren't the case, they wouldn't go through all this trouble. But is it really worth losing hours of your time to try to—
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be foolish to act like this isn't a two-way street, alright? As much as these bozos go out of their way to make sure they can sell this junk, there's a handful of other bozos that still buy into it, even if they know they're being taken advantage of. I mean, really, you're gonna overspend on a product that's more likely going to be readily available within a matter of weeks while also enabling the very people that are f***ing you over in the first place? That kind of idea is like eating cereal with lemonade and then shooting yourself. Not even to mention the fact that buying a scalp product provides you with way less security and reassurance than if you bought it from a store. You can't always get an official receipt. If something goes wrong, you have to deal with the consequences, and you can't necessarily just return it and get your money back. Well, like it or not, scalping is just a way of life these days. But hey, things could be worse.
Doubt it.
As someone with such stupid f***ing hobbies as collecting this type of garbage, scalping makes me sick, and I don't even buy into it. I'm more often just a bystander to this nonsense, and it still keeps me up at night.
Those sons of bitches. Well, be a bystander I will no longer. Today, I decided enough was enough. I said if you can't beat them, join them. But while we're waiting for that to pay off, might as well look at a few examples of this scalping epidemic and see what all the fuss really is about. The fuss is me, I'm making the fuss.
So, what kind of products are typically scalped? Well, nowadays, scalping most often occurs with high-end entertainment-related products, stuff like video game consoles, concert tickets, trading cards. Yeah, let's talk about these first, because I've seen them being scalped way too often. Trading cards, more specifically, Pokémon cards. You can get entertainment out of these.
Look at this. It's a rectangle.
Oh, I'm no stranger to the Pokemon trading card game craze, alright? Being that I've been a huge fan of the series since 2010, I've amassed quite an extensive collection of cards over the years. There's just something fun about collecting trading cards, man. Opening up a fresh pack, sifting through the cards, admiring the artwork, feeling the rush when you get a card you like, or coming across a super rare one. There's just something about it.
Oh, gambling. It's gambling.
Hey, loads of other trading card franchises exist out there, alright? But let's be honest here, Pokemon is the most lucrative. Pokemon isn't just a card game, it's an entire multi-billion-dollar franchise spanning video games, TV shows, movies, merchandise, everything. So yeah, it basically has the widest appeal you could possibly have. No matter who you are, there's probably some Pokemon card out there that appeals to you.
Oh, you fucking know it.
Even still, I'd say for a while there, collecting Pokemon cards felt like a fairly niche hobby. Like everyone knew about them, and quite a handful of people collected them. But it still wasn't something that, like, general audiences were clamoring for. And nowhere was that more apparent than the card section of your local retail stores, man. These were packed. As a kid, I would often accompany my mom to the store when she would go grocery shopping, and almost every time we did from 2013 to 2015, I would ask her for a pack or two of Pokemon cards, to which she would reluctantly comply. Hey, I'm sure she thought it's either I buy him Pokemon cards or he gets into hard drugs. I'm going with the lesser of two evils.
Well, joke's on her. I got into Pokemon cards.
This was one of my major hyperfixations for a while, which is why... I mean, this binder isn't full of condoms. But as the years went on, I started to lose interest in collecting Pokemon cards. Much like any 2015 teenager, things often failed to keep my attention for very long.
This.
However, my love for the series never wavered, and in late 2022, my interest in Pokemon cards perked back up. There was this card store in my area that my friends and I discovered one day, which we would often visit in between doing work for college, and we would usually pick up 1 or 2 packs of Pokemon cards every time, at least I did. I actually got really hooked on it. I remember planning to enter a local tournament within a few months of collecting cards again. I was ready to invest a lot into this. Little did I know that in the time I spent away from the hobby, Pokemon cards had become quite the hot commodity.
Ha! Hot commodity. More like fucking sexy commodity.
See, I like to measure Pokemon TCG interest by 2 distinct eras. Before I was an adult, and the apocalypse. In 2020, people didn't have a lot to do other than watch TikTok videos and waste their money, which made the idea of collecting overpriced decorated cardboard more reasonable, which is to say, it made the idea reasonable. There were a lot of influencers that got really into Pokemon cards at the time and made a bunch of content of them opening up packs in exaggerated manners. Never really got into this content.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon card pack opening. Today we're going to be opening up this pack of Pokemon cards. If you like opening up packs of Pokemon cards, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's do this. Okay, okay, okay. Oh my god! Oh my god! We got it! Oh my god!
I wonder why. However, it didn't matter what I thought, because these videos exploded in popularity, causing everyone to rush out the door and do whatever they could to get their greasy little paws on some Pokemon cards of their own. And thus, we entered the Dark Age.
Pokemon cards are insanely popular nowadays, and especially with avenues such as Pokemon TCG Live for PC and Pokemon TCG Pocket for mobile devices, the game itself is more easily accessible than ever before, which is awesome. More people are collecting cards, playing the game, connecting with other players. We are truly living in a renaissance for the Pokemon trading card game. It's like, wow, this sword is so cool. Ow! As much as it's great that we have more people interested in Pokemon cards, we also have a ton more folks attempting to take advantage of those people by buying out entire lots of card packs and reselling them online for higher, usually completely unreasonable prices. Let's remind all of ourselves here, you're paying for card stock. Is it really worth that much? Maybe.
Back in early 2025, I started seeing these Pokemon card vending machines pop up in my local grocery stores, and at first I thought, wow, what a nice, easily accessible way to pick up new packs. I should buy one for old time's sake. Yeah, I'll add that to the list of things I should do eventually. Every single time I inspected these machines, they were always out of stock. Now, I don't know how often they were restocked on a daily or weekly basis, but my god, for a while there, I wasn't able to get anything. And yeah, you could argue, well, it's like you said yourself, Pokemon cards are just so popular, of course these machines are selling out quickly. It's all of the fans that are buying them. Look at this shit. You can't tell me this isn't calculated. I knew exactly what was going on here. People would wake up early, rush to the stores, buy out nearly every pack of cards in stock from the machines, then post them up on Facebook Marketplace later that day for higher prices. That was their goal from the start. And I wasn't willing to wake up absurdly early for just a chance of buying cards. I had more integrity than that. It was at this point I had lost hope that I'd ever be able to snag a pack for myself. I was willing to accept it. Collecting Pokemon cards just wasn't something I was going to get into anymore. But then one day, I strolled into the nearest grocery store, walked past the machine on a whim, and discovered they actually had packs in stock. I had finally caught the scalpers slacking. At long last, it was time for me to live out my one life goal and buy a pack from the machine.
Oh my god.
Well, here they are. These are the packs I waited weeks to get. Let's go through what all that time amounted to. Those were Pokemon cards.
Yeah, this is one of the most inherent problems with the scalping epidemic. The products that get scalped are just products. There isn't usually a noticeable increase in production value or quality that these scalped products tend to have. The value of such a product pretty much purely lies in how much people want it and how hard it is for them to get. It's like crack. But hey, that does bring up a pretty divisive talking point when it comes to scalping. Are scalped products overpriced if they're sold for more than their market value? Or should their true market value be considered to be whatever people are willing to pay for them? Obviously, market conditions fluctuate all the time. Products become more scarce, production costs rise, all that jazz. But in my opinion, if a company is actively selling a product for a given price that they deem the product is worth, if you buy it scalped for higher, you are, by my definition, overpaying for that product. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. If people are willing to spend high prices for a product, then I guess from a certain standpoint, that's what the product is worth. But my god, have you seen what people are willing to spend their money on? And we're gonna let them decide how things should be priced? And again, with the Pokemon cards, these aren't crazy different or better than they used to be. The only reason why people are scalping them is because they realize collecting has become such a popular hobby. But because people are scalping them, those who are genuinely into the hobby might have a harder time collecting. So they either have to cut back on something they enjoy or pay absurd prices for the same products they could have gotten for cheaper. So, in the end, who wins here? Nobody.
Let's take a look at some of these Pokemon card listings on Marketplace, shall we? As of July of 2025, the most recent set to have released is Destined Rivals. If you couldn't tell. What the f***, man? Look at this. You really think all these people bought these with the intent of doing anything other than selling them? If you're really trying to claim that these people give a shit about Pokemon and are just trying to resell these products for the greater good, oh yeah, I care so much about Pokemon cards. For example, I use this one to store my gum.
Hopefully this gave you a better idea of how troubling it can be to have a product you're interested in buying get scalped. Not being able to buy something at the store but seeing dozens of them being sold online by random idiots? It weighs on you, man. Alright, I've given these enough of my attention. Let's move on to something that's slightly more worthy of everyone's time. Keep in mind, I did say slightly.
So, the Nintendo Switch 2 came out.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, I haven't got one of these for myself yet, but just a few other folks did. The Switch 2 has been selling like mad, evident by the fact that I have yet to actually see one in a store. Now, console launches have always fallen victim to scalping. I remember this was happening a lot when the PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles released back in 2020. That you could at least chalk up to the chip shortages going on at the time. Obviously, they weren't able to keep up their manufacturing rates at the same level as the amount of people trying to buy them, thus the consoles got scalped. But for God's sake, Nintendo literally came out with a report that they were actively working to ensure that there were enough consoles to meet the demands of the Switch 2's launch. And yeah, they sure did do that.
You have my utmost respect, Nintendo. I'm gonna take a shit in your honor.
Alright, so this just might be a me thing, but Switch 2s in my area have been scarce. And by scarce, I mean non-existent. At least at the actual stores themselves. All the games and accessories are fairly prevalent, but the actual console you need to use them, not so much. I know online orders in my area have been opening up here and there, but man, sometimes I just want to be able to go to the store to buy something. I don't want to do it online, I don't want to get it shipped, I want to walk into the store, find the product, purchase it from a cashier, and take it home. Call me old-fashioned.
Or call me a stubborn bitch, you'd be right either way.
But hey, if I really wanted to buy a Switch 2, I could just get one on Facebook Marketplace. Oh yes, just my favorite fucking kink. Listen man, I don't want to sound like a snob, but I don't want to buy a Switch 2 that someone already got their dirty, grimy, sweaty, fucking disgusting hands on already. If these scalpers just fucked all the way off, I'd be able to walk into my local Best Buy and purchase a Switch 2 no problem, like God intended. But no, now I have to spend $50 more? How else do you expect me to react to that? I saw listings on Facebook Marketplace for brand new, barely or just flat out never used Nintendo Switch 2s, all for $50 to $100 more than their MSRP. People have already been bitching to hell and back about the Switch 2's prices before they were being scalped. You expect them to be okay with spending even more? And again, that's a Switch 2 that you can't necessarily get a receipt for. No guarantee of being able to return it. And you run the risk of, like, someone's spit being in the box. I don't know. And yeah, from a consumer standpoint, maybe $50 isn't too much more to spend for some people. But from the dealer's perspective, I mean, this just goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Like, seriously? You're going out of your way to buy Switch 2s just so you can resell them and make $50 extra dollars? Wow, your mom must be so proud of you. But even though I find this practice to be egregious, these Switch 2 listings go away just as fast as they appear, meaning the FOMO is obviously working. Seriously, who is buying these? Oh!
It does feel like all this scalping can be a little arbitrary to complain about. But that means if I do complain about it, I'm breaking new ground. This. And you wonder why they call me a trailblazer. From a certain standpoint, scalping is less so this huge unethical practice and more so just an inconvenience. It's not like these people are outright denying others of these products, they just obviously want a cut of the earnings. But it's about the intent, alright? All these people selling brand new Switch 2s online couldn't give two left shits about Nintendo. They just want to rob little Jimmy's parents from being able to buy his Christmas present from a Walmart and resort to having to buy it from shady-ass Glenn on Facebook, who may or may not try to murk them when they go to buy the console. Which, when I put it like that, does make it sound like they're more evil than they probably are. Are these scalpers the absolute scum of the earth? No. I just find all of this to be so unnecessary when it comes down to it. But hey, like, who's to say I'm gonna be taken seriously, you know? But with that, we've officially discussed the two main scalping cases I care about.
What the f*** is this? Labubu? Is this a product or my sleep paralysis demon?
Ah! Yes.
Labubu is a line of collectible plush toys designed to look like monsters. Oh, I meant monster elves.
Oh!
These have been exclusively marketed and sold by Chinese retailer Pop Mart. You can clip them to your bag?
Oh, okay, I'm sold.
Despite these being around since 2015, they blew up in mid-2025, going viral all over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, which is where I first saw a post about them. So, what makes these so valuable? Well, unlike a lot of the other junk that gets scalped, these are a lot harder to come by in the US, considering they're only sold in China. And not only that, it's pretty tough for people to get their hands on specific variants, considering these toys come in blind boxes. Wow! So you don't know what you're gonna get when you buy these, thus you're bound to purchase dozens in attempts to get the one you really want. One flaw in that system though, that would require me to want any of them. These things are ugly as sin, which I guess is kind of their whole gimmick. People like how ugly they are.
And why exactly does this mentality not apply to me?
Whatever. Regardless of their visual appeal, these are some of the hottest commodities to come out of the 2020s, with people once again neglecting to shut the f*** up about them all over social media. I guess in comparison to the other products I talked about, these are a little more enticing. You can't get them natively in America. If you want the Labubu-shaped hole in your heart to be fulfilled, you're gonna have to call in some favors. The question remains, do I think they're worth buying? Well, you remember how I said I first saw them in a post on Twitter? That post was a picture of one that someone mutilated.
Pretty much sums up my thoughts.
I don't give a damn about these. Now, I'm not gonna judge people for taking interest in stupid f***ing dolls considering
This is my pride and joy, an oversized Detective Pikachu amiibo.
this is me. But like, dude, who's paying this much for these? Cause honestly, I don't want to fight with them. I just want to talk to them for a second. Well, clearly, people are willing to spend a pretty penny for these. You can find them all over eBay for absurd prices. Now, as we discussed before, just because people are listing them for these prices doesn't mean people are actually paying that much for them. Somebody bought one for over $170,000. You know, maybe people that buy from scalpers have the right idea. You might as well spend all your money now because clearly nothing f***ing matters.
Alright, let's be fair here. Scalping is not the worst thing a person can do. Not by a long shot. But my god is it annoying. Especially when you're genuinely interested in something, this practice can flat out rob you of experiences that would have been way more accessible otherwise. And again, for what? Money. As an avid collector, seeing products get scalped breaks my heart. But there's a reason why people do it, because it gets results. But I'll be damned if it isn't one of the slimiest ways to do business, and that's saying a lot. Of course, if you yourself don't support scalping, the best thing you can do is to just not buy into it, which is usually a totally valid option. Oh, all the Switch 2s you can find have been scalped? Just wait till they're back in stores again. It's a mass-produced console. It'll be back there eventually. As for the future, I hope that one day we can all band together to neglect the scalpers and mitigate this epidemic once and for all. Allegory for world peace. But hey, maybe I'll finally understand what the appeal of scalping truly is once this whole Taco Bell investment finally gets off the ground. I haven't gotten a call yet, but just you wait. Oh, we have a buyer! Hi, are you calling from Craigslist? Oh, for the love of God, Dad, I don't care that you're in the hospital. I am trying to do business!